This graphic shows the middle of January of this year with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, as well as the location of Eris, the trans-Neptunian discovered in 2005 that led to the demotion of Pluto. Now notice that they're pretty exactly square. These two are conjunct at almost 23 degrees, and there you have Eris at 23 degrees Aries. And people know about Saturn-Pluto conjunctions. It's more commonly known, and they tend to be tough. We know, for example, 1982, the last conjunction, AIDS epidemic, millions of people die. I also just came across data that showed very high unemployment that year as well. And let's not forget the arms buildup between the USA and Russia that took place starting around that period in the Reagan era that led to a whole lot of tension on a world level. And prior to that, we can go back to the First World War, 1914, 1915. That was a Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And we have to identify that period as being pretty rough. And then the 2 years immediately following the Second World War were in fact the launching of the atomic age. Let's not forget that Pluto is in fact the atomic planet. It's for good reason that it was discovered concurrent with the discovery and use of nuclear power. And that's in fact what Pluto rules. But now we have to throw Eris into the mix. And it's not just a square, or pardon me, it's not just a conjunction between Saturn and Pluto. It's the fact that they're also squaring this planet. And this planet has been connected to discord. And you could also even say chaos. And so it really amps up the energy in a major way. And now I'm going to show in the ephemeris the periods when these planets make exact connections over the next couple of years, because it's very important. So there we see the early 2020, what is effectively a square formed by 3 planets, Pluto, Saturn together, squaring Eris. Then as we move later into the year in June, Pluto and Eris make another square. Saturn by then is in early Aquarius. But in fact, Saturn returns to those degrees still in October. So I consider this planet still involved in the general situation between Pluto and Eris. There's an astrological rule that points to the idea that until a planet is finished with a set of degrees, it's still in play. And I've seen this effect numerous times in charts. And then we see that at the end of the year, another direct square between Pluto and Eris, and we can go all the way to the fall of 21 to see where Pluto and Eris make their last square before Pluto moves forward sufficiently to get away from Eris, which of course is moving very, very slowly, as I say in a prior video. So to my mind, as much as we would say 2020 is probably the worst year on a world level, and of course USA is involved because the USA has a planet directly in the path of all this, Mercury at 24, 25 degrees Cancer. But then we can also add that even after Saturn leaves the configuration and goes into Aquarius, even so, in 2021, since Pluto and Eris are still due to make another direct square, you can expect this level of world fear, instability, and chaos literally to probably extend through 2021 as well. Let's not forget also that one could see Pluto as the uber male. Pluto is often seen by astrologers as the higher octave of Mars. And when you think of Mars, you think of the male symbol. So Pluto is in fact like a super Mars or a super male. And generally speaking, the whole idea of plutocracy, the plutocrat class, is the idea of overly empowered males. Eris is the complete opposite. It's the female force rising to counter that. And so this is partly why we're having so much chaos. But I think it also signals that in due time, female energy is going to rise. I think we'll see more women leaders in politics and more women power in general. as a result of Eris and its ascendancy. And the reason I say that is that Pluto in Capricorn versus Eris in Aries. You know, Eris is said to be the sister of Mars. You probably would suspect that she's pretty comfortable in Aries. More powerful in Aries than Pluto is in Capricorn. As powerful as Pluto is, definitely as a contender for the battle here with Eris and Aries. So I suspect that in terms of this battle, Eris is going to get the upper hand. It may take a while, but it's going to get the upper hand. And so my feeling is that by 2022 at the latest, we're going to see a world transformed with a lot more female power than we currently have.